Welcome mates, I'm Bloodthirsty Lord, but you can call me Lordy, and we're back on Paragon once again for the third time tonight. This is our all-nighter, and we're pulling off so many videos today, and this is the third one of them all. Could be the last one, could be another one, I don't know, but the time will tell. So within this video, we're going to do something interesting, because right now we're on the main screen, but in this video we'll be explaining a new build for the new hero, Aurora, and this build is amazing in my opinion because it's able to keep you tanky enough to sustain a lot of damage, a lot of output from the enemy team, damage output or power output from the enemy team, and you can dose some damage as well at the same time. So it's a really interesting build, and I feel like it will have a great win rate, and most likely tomorrow or the day after we'll be doing a full gameplay of this build in action just to show you how strong this build can be. But before we get this video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe button to keep up to date with the greatest and latest Paragon Gaming content and Paragon Gaming news. As always, expected here first, so without further ado, let's get straight into this. So this is pretty much going to be my Aurora build or guide video, and this is based on the off lane and the mid lane. So you can play in these two lanes. That's the most preferred lanes I've made this build for, and this build is kind of interesting, and the name for the build is Frostbite. Very interesting name for the build, and obviously a very unique name. And let's move on to the prime card that you want to pick. That is the Centaurian card, due to the fact that it's going to be a crazy amount of health bonus and damage bonus towards end game when you do get the prime buff. Obviously, it's not always going to be in effect unless you do have the Orb Prime buff active. So that's the card I do go for my prime cards. Consumables will be health pots, a mana pot, and a strike token. Due to the fact that I want to produce some type of early game damage with my basic attacks, so I'm able to farm easily, and also maybe pick up some early game kills because early game damage is something you must say yes to in every game, in any MOBA to be honest, because it can give you a lead within the game and make you just spiral from there, so you have a massive CP lead or XP lead, and then you can just destroy the enemy team like that. That's why I like this style with the health pot, mana pot, and strike token. And her abilities do take up a lot of mana, so using the mana pot will work to your advantage. And this character has a lot of abilities that do soak up mana, so these are the best that I can think of at this current moment. And followed up by the idea that her abilities, her basic abilities, don't do too much damage compared to other heroes, so you don't want to be using your mana too often, but unless you want to start a initiation or engage enemy with a team member so you're able to destroy them with your CC, because she does have great crowd control, and I will have shown it within the next video, or pretty much within the abilities video when I was talking about this hero Aurora, which was released today. And if your mates are playing it, hoping you're having a swell time. So the first card that we have here is the Flash Fire Piston with 2 brutal kinetics and a normal kinetic. So pretty much this idea for this actual item is, so we get a whole bunch of attack speed out of it, then at the very end the upgrade bonus is 6 power. Not crazy amount of power, but we needed the attack speed in order to pretty much auto attack quicker and clear waves if we're in the off lane or the mid lane. Obviously it's better to be in the off lane with this character because it'll be more safer compared to the mid lane, but you still have your disengage ability or your engage ability to get out fights kind of easily. So that's why I think that she could be a very great mid laner, and that's why we're going to be testing her in the mid lane with this build in the future. Now, some of the other cards we do have, which is a Mathstone Gem card, an early game card, has 2 points to actually purchase the card. Then you do have 3 minor casts on actual cards, so you can fully upgrade it and get the unique bonus, which is 5.5 attack speed. Initially, this card will give you 12 power, and plus when completed, you get the 5.5 attack speed. And then we have another Mathstone Gem, pretty much the exact same stats, but the actual upgrades itself have changed. We'll put a strike upgrade and 2 major strike upgrades, because this is where our damage is going to come from, a main source of damage, because our kits or our abilities don't do too much damage, but with this, hopefully the ability damage of our kit can maybe do something, but usually you don't want to rely on that, because the most damage output you're going to get from your abilities is your ultimate, which is something with a long cooldown reduction, so you don't want to be just waiting for that every time so you can engage. So your base attacks is something that you want to rely on, and by putting major strikes or strikes on one card so you can get a constant amount of power or damage output out of your character is very great. And then we have another card, which is a process type of thing that I do when I go from an early game card into another card in the future, and that is Adamant Edge. This has a great health upgrade, then has a strike upgrade and a minor strike. With Adamant Edge, you do gain initial stats of power and health, followed up by the full upgrade bonus of 12 power. So pretty much you're going to spike in power and do more damage like that. And then we have an early game version of Adamant Edge. Exact same stats, but the upgrades have changed to 2 lesser health and 1 minor strike. The reason why I have minor strikes and lesser health in this card is because I'm trying to sustain the enemy damage output, but also do damage myself. And in the early game, I want to be able to do some damage out, so I'm able to get some early game kills and gain my lead like that, or my advantage like that, or help my team members gain some kills by doing so, by tanking or peeling for them while they try to go for the kill. So either way, building a little bit of health and strike upgrades or damage output in the early game is very great for this character and majority of characters within the game. And let's move on to the next item. This is pretty much where my mid-game items to the late game. So pretty much the first things that we explained were the early game to mid game, and these are the mid game to late game cards. Amulet of the Veteran has interesting stats. Firstly, the initial stat is 100 health, and the full upgrade bonus for this card is 50 health and 6 power. So you pretty much get a nice damage output increase and also health increase when you fully upgrade this. The upgrades on the actual item itself is 1 lesser health, then a normal health upgrade, and then followed up by the greater health. So I'm pretty much getting a whole bunch of health out of this build in the early game, into mid game, to the late game. There's a lot of health in this build because I want to soak as much damage as possible, so I can use that with my Ice Clone ability and my Ice Statue that we will showcase in the first look gameplay previously to this, if everything is uploading to plan, and that's the idea. So that card's really great for a boost in tankiness and overall little bit of damage coming out of it as well. Now the Warding card, which is something I have a choice between if I want to go Amulet of the Veteran or Guardian's Ward. I left a choice there due to the fact that if the enemy team is warding like crazy, then I'm going to go Guardian's Ward as well, so I can gain some vision. And if they're trying to go for ganks, I need some vision, so this warding item is crucial, especially in the changes that happen in version 37. You want to go for these cards guaranteed. So we got the Guardian's Ward. The initial stats for this actual item is 6 power and 50 health. And we have some upgrades on the actual card itself, which are a greater health upgrade, a health upgrade, and a lesser health upgrade. Pretty much the exact same stats and number outcome as Amulet of the Veteran, so I have my choice there. So it's really good to keep that choice. Now we move on to the tank/resistance items within the game, and that is Tempered Plate. This obviously is a universal item, but it is a great universal item due to the fact that you are able to gain initial stats of 7 basic armor and 50 health, followed up by the fully upgrade bonus of 14 basic armor. Then the upgrades that we do have on this card are Greater Guard, Guard, and Health. A lot of mates want to play with me at this current moment. It's really hard because I'm trying to do these videos at the same time, wanting to play in the new hero. I haven't played too much on it, did a solo vs AI, and that's it. So I can't accept your invitations at this current moment. Obviously, we're doing this build video and guide video for the new hero Aurora. So let's move on. So that's a really good item overall to get some resistance against the enemy basic attacks. So if they have a range ADC or Marauder, that's obviously a late game carry, and they're using basic damage output. And that's a really good item to build in the mid game to late game, so you're able to minimize their damage output. Tomb Barrier, another card with resistance and health. We have on this actual card itself 4 ability armor and 50 health. Once fully upgraded, you do gain 8 ability armor. We do have a Greater Barrier, 12 ability armor, Barrier, 8 ability armor, and health, 100 health. So pretty much with this build, you're doing a bit of damage, and it's constant damage output. Like some of the full upgrade bonus will spike your damage outputs, but your most spike of damage will be in the early game to mid game. Once you're able to utilize it and hopefully pick up some kills, you'll be able to snowball and obviously keep on going and initiate in every fight and obviously win the outcome. That is a great ability to have when playing this hero. And all you mates are saying at this current moment, building tank in Monolith in version 37, isn't that useless? No. People that think like that, obviously not thinking about the bigger game. If you build tank, you build resistance, the enemy team's not going to be able to do damage. That means you can peel your carries, initiate whenever you want, and with your Ice Clone ability taking the exact same stats you have when you activate it, you can utilize that to your benefit and obviously let that soak up more damage, so then you're able to peel a lot more and block a lot more damage compared to any other tank within the game. So yes, there's a lot of interesting aspects to this kit, something I need to go into more with in actual gameplay, which we might showcase in a later video. But this is my build, so I want to go through the order of what I will get in the early game. Obviously, I don't have 3 early game cards, which are Health Pot, Mana Pot, and Strike Token. Now the 3 early equipment cards will be Madstone Gem and Adamant Edge, which is the one there. Depending on the situation, if I need to build tankiness straight away or more health, I'll go Adamant Edge and obviously get my damage output increase once it's fully upgraded, as you can see. Or I can just go Madstone Gem, which will obviously increase my damage output and also give me some attack speed once fully upgraded. So that's the early game style. You can choose between that or that, but either way, once you pick the Madstone Gem, you're going to pick the other one, Adamant Edge, because the early game items, and you want to complete them as quick as possible, so you're able to get the spikes out of those cards once they're fully upgraded when you're playing as this hero Aurora. And then you can move into the Flash Fire Piston, which will give you more attack speed and more power output once you're fully upgraded. The power output won't be too insane, but the attack speed will be bloody insane compared to what it is normally, so you'll be swinging like crazy and doing that constant damage more often. So you're pretty much doing higher DPS per second. Obviously, if you put crit into this build, it's going to make her pretty much useless in my eyes because she's made to be tanky. If you build crit as the main item, if you build a character around crit only, it's going to be kind of useless. So I really haven't done that. Maybe in a different role it could work out, but in the offlane and mid lane, I don't want to build that at all, especially on this hero. And after you complete those items, then you want to go into the mid-game items of Madstone Gem and Adamant Edge. So pretty much you can discard the early game items if you want, you can keep them, and then build up into the mid game items, which are Mass Dome, Gem, and Adamant Edge, with a higher upgrade cost on each of those cards. And those will obviously spike your damage and your health higher, and obviously you'll be able to tank more and do more damage within the fight. Then you have the choice of Amulet of the Veteran or Guardian's Ward. Pretty much giving you the exact same stats. Obviously you gain more benefit or stat numbers through Amulet of the Veteran, but if you want Vision, and you obviously want Vision to win games because Vision is key to success, then you'll be able to get Guardian's Ward. And Guardian's Ward can be picked up at any time if you want to do so, because that is the only ward within the kit. We don't have a Scout Ward because Scout Wards are pretty much irrelevant wise now, and obviously an official warding item will be a better option to go for, and you can get that item whenever you want, in the early game, mid game, or late game. Obviously better in the early to mid game because you're able to abuse Vision and destroy the enemy team. Once you complete one of those choices, you might have to discard the other one because you want to build resistance depending on the enemy team. If the enemy team is somehow all basic damage, then you just build Tempo Play, and then you just go back and build Amulet of the Veteran. And if the enemy team can abuse ability damage against you, then you want to build Tomb Barrier and then go back to Amulet of the Veteran if they have a full team ability damage orientated heroes. But if not, then you just want to build Tempo Plate and Tomb Barrier, whatever one goes first depending on the enemy carry. And then that is your full build. Pretty much you're going to do crap load of damage, constant damage, around maybe I think 400. I haven't tested it exactly, so I don't know the exact numbers because I haven't done the scaling yet properly. And obviously with the tankiness, you'll be able to pretty much tank like no tomorrow, peel like no tomorrow, and just be that frontline hero that you have to be when playing as Aurora. But mates, as always, I want to know your thoughts on this video. What do you think about my build? And personally, I adore it. I think it's very good for her kit and what she is in the world of AURORA. But leave your thoughts and your opinions in the comment section down below. So mates, if you did enjoy this video, show your support, smash that like button. Let's try to get 200 likes on this video. Your mates' support has been insane. Let's keep seeing it go through. And mates, if you want to see more Paragon Gaming content and Paragon Gaming news, all you have to do is share this with your friends and hit the subscribe button to become a mate today. And that's all for this video. Oh, time's go, but don't you worry. We're back very soon. Hey Dance Boys, you ain't seen nothing yet. They won't even know what hit them. The Frostbite Aurora build is going to be disgusting, mates.
It feels right.